evening, I'm Wanda Maiko and welcome to IMTV's 5:30 report for Wednesday, August the 12th. In the news, a man from Onanol has pled guilty to 3 drug-related charges. Neil Ross appeared in provincial court in Brandon this morning to face charges under 3 sections of the Federal Narcotics Act. The offenses relate to 2 separate incidents in early January. Ross's case has been remanded until September 9th at 10 a.m. when a date for sentencing will be set. 2 Manitoba brothers were fined $4,000 in Brandon for smuggling thousands of dollars worth of liquor and tobacco into Manitoba from North Dakota. 54-year-old Reginald Montgomery of Minnedosa and 52-year-old Robert Montgomery of Portage La Prairie pleaded guilty to smuggling charges yesterday at what was supposed to be a preliminary hearing. Crown Attorney Marley Dash said the pair bought about $5,000 worth of liquor and almost $500 in tobacco products in 1990 in Minot, North Dakota. A North Dakota police officer saw them load their truck and he followed it out of the city and watched as they crossed through a field into Canada, where it was also spotted by an RCMP surveillance aircraft. A Korean immigrant was handed a 2-month jail term and a $7,000 fine yesterday for trying to sell parts for more than 300 bears. 40-year-old Yong Yen Choi pleaded guilty in June to 19 offenses under the Manitoba Wildlife Act. Police and Natural Resources Department representatives say the stiff punishment should send a warning to others in the animal parts trade. Choi's lawyer argues that his client is from a country where medicine made from bear parts is commonplace. He says Choi simply didn't understand Manitoba's wildlife laws. Choi was arrested last October at Winnipeg's airport with 12 bear gallbladders and 10 packages of ground antlers in his carry-on bag. The police also found parts from 335 bears at 2 of his businesses. The town of Dauphin has received a check for almost $14,000 from the Manitoba Public Insurance Corporation. As a provincial crown corporation, MPIC is exempt from paying taxes to towns where it has property or conducts businesses. So in lieu of taxes normally assessed by local administrations, the corporation makes annual grants. MPIC operates an industrial road claim center in Dauphin, which serves motorists from the surrounding area. Last year, the corporation paid out nearly $895,000 in grants to various municipalities throughout the province. Swan River will soon have a new facility for people requiring higher levels of care. Construction is about half done on a personal care home adjacent to the Swan River Valley Hospital. And Leanne Donald has more in this report.
Construction crews are hard at work on the new Swan Valley Lodge. It's being built on the same site as the town's hospital, and the 70-bed care home will replace the present 50-bed facility. Don Thompson, executive director of the Swan River Valley Hospital, says he is happy with the progress of construction so far, despite some delays due to the weather.
Well, we're about 3 or 4 weeks behind schedule, and as you can see from the progress now and all the rain we've had, I guess it's indicative of the weather and things like that.
Construction on the new home is expected to be finished by next June, and 15 to 20 new nurses' aides will be hired to staff the facility. Thompson says the Swan Valley Lodge will have bigger rooms with bay windows for the residents, a main activity area, and a large kitchen that will be shared with the hospital.
We're going to be putting a kitchen in over here, and it'll be a shared kitchen between the hospital and the personal care, or the new lodge as we call it. And we hope it'll be therefore more efficient when it's serving a bigger facility.
The general contractors on the more than $6.4 million project are Minish Construction from Swan River. It is funded entirely by the provincial government, and officials are happy to have funding which isn't readily available in these economic times. The move from the old personal care home to this new one will start as soon as construction is finished next summer. Thompson says there is an increasing demand for higher levels of care in the Swan River area, and the lodge will be full from the beginning of operation, as there are already 15 to 20 people in the hospital waiting to get into such a facility. Reporting from Swan River, I'm Leanne Donald.
Two Aboriginal journalism students in Winnipeg who say that they are being forced to practice Native religion as part of their college program have filed discrimination complaints with Manitoba's Human Rights Commission. Both students say they've been told they won't graduate if they don't take part in the cultural portion of the course, which includes religious ceremonies involving Native customs and artifacts. One of the students, Doug Thomas, says he respects and attends the ceremonies, but he says being forced to attend violates his rights. The two-year Native journalism program combines courses at Winnipeg's Red River Community College with the on-the-job training at local media outlets. The program's director refuses to comment on the matter. The new chief of Manitoba's Shamattawa Indian Reserve is planning to take some strong measures against drinking, solvent abuse, and guns. Chief Bennett Redhead, who was elected yesterday, says the violence-plagued community can't wait for help from outside the reserve. Redhead replaces the late Noah Redhead, who was stabbed to death last month. His wife was charged with second-degree murder in the incident. Police say this type of violence that is taking over the reserve is caused by widespread solvent and alcohol abuse. Shamattawa is supposed to be a dry reserve, but liquor and solvents are often smuggled in. The new chief says he wants to ban sniffing and restrict gun use. He also wants mail to be checked by an X-ray machine at the regional post office in Thompson. A cool, wet summer has proved to be a mixed blessing for vegetable farmers in southern Manitoba. Carrots, cabbage, broccoli, and cauliflower are among the crops that have thrived, and while they are a bit later than usual, they are producing an abundant harvest. However, growers say cucumber and zucchini crops, which require lots of sun, are a disaster. Doris Wilgenbush from Roblin's Farmers Market adds that tomatoes and corn haven't been too popular at the markets either. Roy Vink, a sales and marketing manager for the Manitoba Vegetable Growers Marketing Board, says the weather has actually helped improve the quality of some crops such as cauliflower, which suffers in hot weather. Paul Glasson, produce manager for the wholesale grocery distributor Codville Company, says that consumers can expect to pay more for those items that are scarce. Approximately 25 to 30 farmers from the area attended a Zonation Trial tour earlier this afternoon on the outskirts of Dauphin, and I have more in this report. The tour today consisted of a comparison of a number of varieties of wheat, oats, barley, canola, and flax. The general purpose of the variety test trials is to study how the new cereals adapt or respond to our climate. Local crop specialist with Manitoba's Department of Agriculture, Keith Watson, explains that the farmers should also be looking at a number of other factors.
I think mostly what we're after here is to give farmers a chance to visually look at the varieties side by side and compare them. So it gives them a real opportunity to compare things like lodging and maturity date and filling and how the heads form and the ease of how they'll be like to swath and pick up or straight combine, whatever they're looking for. And it gives them a chance then to compare them. And then the more important thing, or the thing that has to go along with it, is in the wintertime, about the end of December or so, early January, we get the yield results from it. So then the farmer can picture what the plot looked like in the summertime, as well as what kind of yield it has. There's no use having looking for a variety just on yield alone. It may yield high, but if it lodges flat on the ground, you may not be able to pick it up, so half the yield might be lost. So it's those kind of things that we're trying to rationalize and look for today, as well as with the data that comes out of it this fall.
More varieties will continue to be introduced in the future because of changes to the plant breeding process. Their introduction is important for a number of reasons.
With the new varieties that we've experienced, right now we have a change in the whole plant breeding program. We have plant breeders' rights now. So that means that companies can actually get paid for development of new varieties. We have then, because of that, a lot of varieties that have been introduced. Now, we have seen it through canola over the last 5 or 10 years, a lot of new varieties coming in every year, and we have something like 25 different canola varieties, a lot of them being introduced from Europe, which they've had plant breeding programs, and a lot of those varieties do fit into our breeding program here. over the next few years we're going to see an awful lot more of those kind of varieties being introduced, because breeding companies have a way of getting reimbursed for their efforts. That's part of this plot, that there's so many new varieties getting exposed to us at one time. The question is to the farmer, how do you actually figure out which one you should grow? The certified seed grower wants to know it because he wants to guess his market as to what seed he should be supplying, and the commercial farmer wants to know as to what will give him the most yield for the least amount of trouble. So hopefully that's part of this plot as well, is to look at those kind of things and help people evaluate which way they'll be going with their seed production.
Another tour is planned for tomorrow afternoon. It will involve pulse crops with a look at diseases of lentils and peas, harvesting, specialized equipment, and desiccation of crops. It's being held at Don Dewar's farm at 1 o'clock. Farmers are being reminded by the Keystone Agriculture Producers Organization to return their 1991 NISA applications. The deadline for returning the completed forms, which has already been extended from June 30th to September 30th, is fast approaching. As of July 30th, only 32% of some 20,000 NISA forms had been returned. CAP President Earl Geddes says a tremendous amount of work has gone into securing the NISA provision as part of the Grains and Oilseeds Safety Net initiative. He feels that it would be greatly irresponsible of producers to lose this management tool by default. CAP reminds grain farmers that the NISA provision is a government match program which will earn interest on their accounts from the date their applications are received. With harvest fast approaching, the official suggests that producers should consider turning the task over to farm accountants. A hunt for Nazis is taking place right here in Canada. Officials say they are investigating more than 1,000 suspected war criminals living in this country. The Toronto Star reports about 300 of these cases are considered high priority. Documents obtained by the newspaper under the Access to Information Act reveal that the Justice Department's War Crimes Unit hasn't asked Justice Minister Kim Campbell to take legal action against any suspects for more than 2.5 years. 3 months ago, Campbell said the government was setting a March 1994 deadline to complete war crimes investigations. The Star also says 799 investigations have been ended, either because the person is dead or there isn't enough evidence. A team of doctors from Halifax are involved in a worldwide study of a new drug being used to treat ovarian cancer. Dr. Robert Grimshaw says a form of chemotherapy, the drug Taxol, doesn't seem to have the side effects associated with most treatments. He says the new drug reduces the usual nausea and vomiting. 10 of Grimshaw's patients have already volunteered to take the drug, and he's expecting more. Patients taking Taxol will be monitored regularly, and the data collected will be added to the larger study. And finally in the news, Statistics Canada reports that 40% of smokers interviewed in a large study actually tried to quit in the last year. The federal agency attributes the high percentage of would-be quitters to social pressures, health concerns, increased taxation on cigarettes, anti-smoking programs, and restrictions on smoking in public places. The study also found that smoking is far more prevalent among Aboriginals than any other ethnic group. Almost 60% of Aboriginals in the study group smoked regularly. The rate was less than 30% for people of French and Ukrainian background, the next most avid smokers. Ethnic English and Polish people followed with somewhat more than 20% reporting regular smoking. The study suggests native-born Canadians of all ethnic groups are more likely to smoke than immigrants. 16% of foreign-born Canadians smoke, compared with 25% of native-born Canadians. Smoking is considered the #1 preventable cause of death. The study involved over 13,000 Canadians aged 15 and over. That's a look at news. Stay tuned. Weather details are next.
We do more than oil. Need great service, don't have a lot of time. We do more than oil. Fast and convenient is what you'll find. We do more than oil. Service your car can't do without. We do more than oil. We do more than oil. That's what we're about. We do more than
You can get professional quick lube service in minutes today with no appointments necessary at Mountain View Service across from the mall south of Dauphin. Listen up, folks. Talpash's General Store in St. Rose has an offer you can't refuse. Right now, they have 2 only solid oak dining room suites at prices that will absolutely astound you. This special purchase is a one-time deal only. Mix and match the set you want to meet your needs. These beautifully crafted dining room suites will not be advertised again. So avoid disappointment. Call Barry today and take advantage of this unbeatable offer at Talpash's General Store in St. Rose. And remember, trades are welcome on your used furniture.
Good evening. Well, we seem to be getting quite a mixture of sun and cloud lately, but that should give way to mainly sunny conditions for the latter part of the week. This intermingling of sun and cloud is being reported from across Manitoba and Saskatchewan today. This will change soon, though. There'll be mainly clear skies tonight and sunny skies tomorrow. Temperatures will be closer to normal for this time of year by tomorrow. Let's take a look now at the Environment Canada weather map and the synopsis for Manitoba. A fair amount of cloud was reported in many areas of Manitoba today, keeping temperatures a few degrees below normal. The clouds should thin out overnight and give way to mainly clear skies by morning. The combination of clear skies and a cool air mass will allow temperatures to drop to the mid-single digits in most areas. Frost is possible in some areas, while fog is a possibility in the southeastern sections. Tomorrow we'll see mainly sunny skies cloud over as daytime heating once again produces some fair weather clouds. Temperatures will climb slightly as westerly winds bring in some warmer air. This warming trend will continue on Friday and into the weekend. The hot spot in Canada today was Dawson Creek, BC at 31 degrees, while the record low in our nation was Grise Ford, Northwest Territories at -2. Taking a look at the Parkland area temperatures right now, Mafeking is 22, Swan River, St. Rose and McCreary are all 21, Gilbert Plains and Grandview are reporting in at 22 degrees, Roblin is 20, Russell 21, Yorkton 20 degrees, and Clear Lake 17. Turning to the current conditions in Dauphin this hour, it's partly cloudy, winds are from the southwest at 10, and it's 21 degrees, which is 70 on your Fahrenheit scale. Barometric pressure is 102.4 and rising, and humidity 51%. Today's high was 21 degrees, our overnight low was 4, and we've had just a trace of precipitation in the last 24 hours. Going now to the forecast for the southern Parkland region, we'll have a few cloudy periods tonight. Winds will be light and variable, and we'll have a low of 5 degrees. Maximum humidity will be 90%. Tomorrow will be sunny with a few cloudy periods. Winds will be light from the south, and we'll have a high of 24. Minimum humidity will be 40% with strong drying conditions. The low tomorrow night will be 11 degrees. And Friday should be sunny with a high of 26. The probability of precipitation is 0% tonight, 10 tomorrow, and 10% on Friday. The Winnipeg-Ostis region will have some cloudy periods tonight. They'll have light westerly winds and lows from 6 to 10 degrees. Tomorrow will be sunny with a few cloudy periods, light west winds, and a high of 23. Their low tomorrow night will be 11. And Friday should be mainly sunny with a high of 25 degrees. The probability of precipitation, 10% tonight, 10 tomorrow, and 10 on Friday. The record high temperature for this date was 34 degrees in 1955. The record low was a cool 1 degree in 1951. The high temperature last year on this date was 31 degrees, while the low was 10. The sun rose this morning at 6:23. It will set this evening at 6 minutes after 9, and it will rise again tomorrow morning at 6:24. Recapping the forecast for the Parkland area, we'll have a cool night with mercury dipping down to 5 degrees. Tomorrow will be sunny with a few clouds, and Friday should be mainly sunny. Temperatures will reach the mid-20s both days, and the weekend is looking good temperature-wise too, so let's keep our fingers crossed. That's it for the weather. Steve will be in with sports after this.
You can add on a roof, remodel a bath, build yourself a deck as easy as that. You can do it, you can do it, you can do it. You can do it with us.
McMunn & Yates Do It Centers bring you the Summer Scorcher Sale. Save on this 5-amp drywall screw gun with bonus drywaller's leather pouch at $129.99, RV antifreeze 4 liters $379, and Thompson's water seal 4 liters $14.88.
You can do it with us.
The total inventory liquidation sale continues at Stop 1 in Dauphin. Minimum discounts are increasing every week. Stock is now at a minimum of 60% with discounts of up to 70% off. Get in on the outstanding savings on all spring, summer, fall, and winter guys and gals apparel. Everything in the store, including fixtures, must be sold. So hurry in before stock disappears at Stop 1's Total Inventory Liquidation Sale, Main Street North in Dauphin. Good evening in sports. The championship series in the Manitoba Senior Baseball League gets underway this evening. Last year's winner, the Riverside Canucks, are back in the final to defend their title. They'll be taking on the Macaulay Blazers. Riverside and Macaulay both advanced to the final by scoring 4-1 series victories in the semis. The final series is a best-of-7 matchup, and Game 1 this evening is in Macaulay. The Manitoba Summer Games get underway next Wednesday in Minnedosa and Neepawa, and many athletes from the Parkland will be taking part. Last night at the Senior Center here in Dauphin, a pep rally was held to help stir up the spirit of the participants. There's more in this report. 151 athletes, coaches, and managers gathered in the Dauphin Senior Center yesterday evening for a number of presentations and a pep rally to kick things off as they prepare for the Manitoba Summer Games. Team Parkland is traveling to Minnedosa and Neepawa next week for the Games, which run August 19th to the 23rd. Janice Fedorchuk, who organized the Parkland Summer Games, is a member of the team's mission staff. She explains why the pep rally was held.
We have one every time there's a big games. It gets people motivated, and we're going to win the Spirit of the Games Award this year, so you can tell by the way they cheered today we're going to win it.
All of these Games participants qualified for the provincial competition by winning their events in the Parkland Summer Games. Fedorchuk says we have athletes in every sport, but not every event within a sport.
They're taking part in every sport. Some of the sports we don't have it all full field. For example, board sailing, we have nobody in the category for 17 and under. Golf, we're missing some of the seniors.
A number of speakers encouraged the team, and everyone sang songs and tried to get into the spirit of friendly competition. When the official part of the program was over, the members of Team Parkland were presented with team jackets, outfits they will proudly wear as they represent our region. The Dauphin Kings Hockey Club held their annual meeting last night. The team reviewed their financial statement, and the picture painted is not a pretty one. After losing nearly $26,000 last year, the team's liabilities totaled nearly $78,000 as of year-end, May 31st.
And Saskatchewan. Tonight is the last in the series. What